Good afternoon, this is Cronkite Sports Now, and I'm your host, Kirsten Corns. The NFL draft is underway and football season is just a few months away, but it has not yet been confirmed that college or NFL season will start on time. University of Arizona's president, Dr. Robert Robbins, said yesterday that he does not see football starting in the fall due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Robbins said, quote, "As much as I want it, it just seems as though if we do play any football in the fall, it's going to be delayed because I've heard nothing and we're headed to May 1st. My hope is we're going to get some clarity on this very soon, but it seems unlikely to me. I'd love to see it happen, but we're waiting every day to get some guidance." End quote. Draft day or not, coronavirus relief efforts are not being forgotten. The Arizona Cardinals are donating all funds originally designated for media covering the draft to Arizona-based Meals on Wheels.
The response to Cardinals carryout has been amazing. The Red Sea has responded in a big way. We're so grateful to Cardinals fans, not only for their recommendations of restaurants, but by supporting these establishments at such an important time. And we're also grateful for our opportunity to show our appreciation for our healthcare heroes and law enforcement, especially the dispatchers and the first responders. We appreciate you all the time, but especially at times like these.
The COVID-19 pandemic has shifted most people to work remotely and social distance themselves from others. Lauren Leander, a Phoenix Critical Care Unit nurse and daughter of Phoenix Suns announcer Tom Leander, is going viral for this photo. Along with other nurses, Leander stood outside of the Capitol building to protest those looking to reopen the state too soon. She is giving a voice to those too sick with the coronavirus. As we rewind time to take a look back at the sports world, in 2004, on this day, the Phoenix Suns were purchased by American businessman Robert Sarver. Cronkite News reporter Carly Mathias joins me to discuss what this day meant to Arizona sports history.
Carly, can you tell me, at the time, what was so significant about Sarver buying the Suns?
Yeah, so back in 2004, when Robert Sarver purchased the Suns, he purchased them for $401 million, which at the time was the largest purchasing price of an NBA franchise. At the time, the Suns were considered one of the most elite franchises in the NBA, and they were really on uphill, and they were going in the right direction. So it was a big surprise that the Suns were purchased, and also for that large amount.
And what was the fans' initial reactions to this purchase?
I talked to Craig Harris of the Arizona Republic, and he covered this at the time, and he said he didn't really think that fans cared that much that the Suns were sold. It was more of a shock that Jerry Colangelo, the former owner, actually sold them. They thought that he was going to stick around for a long time, which he stuck around on the board for a little bit afterwards. But mainly, it was just a shock that he let go of the team, and especially because Sarver wasn't really a basketball guy. He was, like you said, he was a businessman. He was into banking and some real estate, and so they didn't really know him in any basketball capacity, which was a little bit of a shock to fans.
No, absolutely. So how has the franchise since then developed underneath Sarver's ownership?
At first they were doing really well, especially when Colangelo was still on the board and helping out the team. But once Jerry Colangelo left, you started to see things go south pretty quickly, and the Suns are currently in a 10-year NBA playoff drought, which obviously is never good. You can tell that Sarver's been trying, and he really he wants the team to do well, but he's admitted that he is a little bit of a micromanager, and he has meddled a little bit too much, which obviously can be a problem. And some really good general managers and coaches have left the franchise in the past 15 years. So it hasn't really been the best purchase for the Suns.
No, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Carly, for taking the time to talk to us about this purchase.
For our second look back in history today, we're skating over the ice to take a look back when the then Phoenix Coyotes won their first ever playoff series. Cronkite News reporter Travis Whitaker joins me now to take a look back on that day.
Travis, who were they playing against in that series, and what was that series like?
So they played the Chicago Blackhawks, who a couple of years earlier defeated the Philadelphia Flyers in the Stanley Cup. So this it's been a couple years since they won a Stanley Cup. But Chicago was a franchise then that was on the up and coming. They were very high-powered offense. Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, Johnny Oduya. But in this series, it was highly competitive, highly hitting, lots of playoff-like atmosphere. Earlier in the series, Rafi Torres was suspended indefinitely for hitting Marian Hossa, which at the time was Chicago's one of their better offensive skill players. And so it was just a hard-hitting playoff series that was highly competitive. Through 5 games, the first 5 all went to overtime. The Coyotes outscored the Blackhawks 13-12. So we're talking a 1-goal margin of difference through the first 5 games. And when you have 5 games going to overtime, it can go either way. Playoff hockey, that's the one thing about hockey in overtime is it's one bounce goes the other way and you're eliminated in 4. I mean, just look at the Coyotes. They could have been on the wrong bounce and they still haven't won a playoff series. Here we are 8 years later, they haven't made it. But,
And Travis, in that series, who were some notable players for the Phoenix Coyotes that helped them clinch that series win?
Oh, easily Mike Smith. I took down some notes yesterday, and in this series, he faced 241 shots over the 6 games, and he stopped 229. One interesting fact, too, is in the first 2 games, he saw 95 shots, and he stopped all but 6 of those. So he was all over the place. He stood on his head all series long. Most importantly, too, though, he stood on his head in Game 6. In Game 6, he stopped 39-39. And an interesting fact that I found, or statistic I should say, is all but one Chicago Blackhawks skater had at least 1 shot on goal, which is a pretty impressive feat, knowing that you're getting shots from everywhere on the ice. And he just stood on his head and helped the Coyotes win this series. Obviously, you have to score a little bit. And like I said, they scored 13 goals in the first 5 games. Well, they scored 4 in Game 6. And it started with Oliver Ekman-Larsson in the second period on the power play. And that ended up being the game-winning goal. And they added 3 more in the third period to prevail 4-0. But being able to have that offense and Mike Smith, the goalie, backstopping them to win that series is what kind of helped the Coyotes make that run that year is Mike Smith.
Yeah, a whole team effort. Since then, how have the Coyotes performed throughout the years?
Throughout the years, they've been struggling. As we all know, us locals here, they've been rumored to be for sale. They've been, are we going to move? Where are we going to play? What arena? But the franchise now, I think they have the right owner and the right GM and the right coach, and they have some of the right pieces to get where they want. I don't think they're a championship team yet, but they're a couple of pieces away where they can potentially get there. Do they re-sign Taylor Hall? I think they should. He's a good player. He's a great addition, but I think they need a couple more players, and the GM with the Coyotes is going to make the right moves, I think, with what he can get. And Arizona is an attractive market right now. Think about it. It's nice weather all the time. You get ASU hockey coming up. Hockey is blooming in the desert, and I think it's bright for the Coyotes moving forward. It's just been a while since they've had success.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Travis.
No problem.
Before we get out of here, it's the championship in the Cronkite Sports Movie Bracket Madness Tournament, and it looks like the only thing left is baseball movies. Head on over to our Cronkite Sports Twitter page to vote for your favorite movies. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoy your evening, and we'll catch you again tomorrow. Just a different face and a different place for our last Cronkite Sports Now show of the semester.